Okay, so imagine a future where healthcare isn't just one size fits all, but it's perfectly tailored to your unique genetic code. Well, that's exactly the future Abu Dhabi is trying to build with this huge, ambitious project to map its citizens' DNA. And today we're going to break down exactly how they're pulling it off. All right, let's just dive right in. What is the big idea behind this whole genome program? I'll tell you, it's about way more than just collecting data. It's about completely changing the game for an entire nation's health. I mean, really think about that for a second. This is the question that's driving everything. It's this powerful idea that if we can understand our most fundamental biological blueprint, we can literally build a healthier society from the ground up. So this whole thing kicked off back in 2019 as a pretty groundbreaking partnership. But it wasn't just some vague idea. It grew into this highly structured, real-world plan. And by 2022, they had released an official policy to guide every single step of the process. Now, before we go any further, let's make sure we're on the same page. When we say genome, what are we talking about? Well, think of it as the complete instruction manual for a human being. It's your entire set of DNA, the code that makes you, you. Simple as that. And here's where it gets really practical. See, this isn't just some research project that's going to be locked away in a lab somewhere. The whole point is to give people their own genomic data and make it a normal part of their healthcare. Imagine your doctor knowing with certainty which medication will work best for you based on your DNA. That's the dream. So, what's the engine powering all of this? Well, it's this amazing fusion of two incredible technologies. You've got DNA sequencing on one side, and on the other, you've got the artificial intelligence you need to sift through all that massive data and actually find the important patterns. It's a real powerhouse combination. Now, you might be thinking, okay, this is huge, but why go through all this effort? Why was such a massive, nationwide project even necessary? Well, it all boiled down to one fundamental problem they absolutely had to solve. And here it is. This is the core of the problem. For genetic science to work properly, you need a baseline, a standard to compare everything against. And for the Arab population, that high-quality, specific genetic blueprint, it just didn't exist. Think of it like this. A reference genome is like a master map of a city. If you're trying to navigate Abu Dhabi using a map of New York, yeah, you might find some familiar landmarks, but most of the streets are just going to be wrong. Without a specific blueprint for the local population, genetic medicine is just way less accurate. So this is the key takeaway. By building this specific Emirati reference genome, they aren't just filling a gap. They're actually creating the very foundation they need to unlock a whole new era of medical research and precision medicine that's tailored directly to their own people. So how in the world do you manage a project this enormous? Well, you need a rock-solid plan, and that 2022 policy laid out this amazing strategic framework built on 4 key pillars. It's basically the roadmap for turning this grand vision into a reality. And here it is, the official framework. Now, it looks like a lot, but it's all organized around these 4 core pillars you see right here: service, data, research and innovation, and resources. So let's just quickly break down what each of these means. First up, you've got service. This pillar is all about bringing genomics out of the lab and into the clinic. It's about getting more people sequenced, using that info to tackle big health issues like diabetes or heart disease, and, just as important, teaching the public about it so everyone can be part of this health revolution. Next up, data. And this one is huge because we're talking about some of the most sensitive personal information you can have. This pillar is all about the nuts and bolts of managing it all, building secure systems, linking it to medical records, and making sure it's all handled ethically and safely. Of course, data is only useful if you actually do something with it, right? So pillar number 3, research and innovation, is designed to create a space where discoveries can happen. This means encouraging scientists, protecting new ideas, and building partnerships to turn all that data into life-saving breakthroughs. And finally, the resources pillar. This is the super practical side of the whole thing. How do you pay for it all? Who are the skilled people that are going to run it? This pillar makes sure the program is built to last, with solid funding and the right talent to see it all the way through. Okay, now for what is arguably the most important piece of this whole puzzle. When you're dealing with the DNA of an entire nation, trust is absolutely everything. So what kind of guardrails have they put in place to make sure this is all done responsibly? Well, the entire program is anchored by these 8 principles. And just look at what's right there at the top: ethical and transparent, and data security. Every single decision they make is measured against these values, which means putting the individual and their privacy first, always. And this quote, which comes directly from the official policy, isn't just a nice statement. It's a public promise. It makes their intention crystal clear. This incredibly powerful information will only be used responsibly and for the common good to tackle the most urgent health problems. So, after all the planning, the data, the ethics, what does the future actually look like? What's the ultimate vision that this entire program is building toward? The end game is really twofold. First, it's about creating a totally new, revolutionary standard of healthcare for their own people. And second, it's about establishing Abu Dhabi as a global hub for this cutting-edge science, attracting the best minds and driving innovation for the whole world. And this right here is the official vision statement. It's simple, but it's also incredibly powerful, isn't it? The goal is to use our own genetic code to understand disease better, create targeted treatments, and at the end of the day, help every single person live a longer, healthier life. Which leaves us with one final, really big question. Abu Dhabi is creating a model for a brand new kind of healthcare, built on a foundation of our own DNA. Is this a glimpse into the future of medicine, not just for one country, but for all of us? It's definitely something to think about.